Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have now a Marine ECM coming from Florida, John D. This is your computer. This is a Volvo Penta EGC, which stands for actually E-Controls module. If you have one of these ones, that's how they look. And you can see it's a Volvo Penta and it has an E. In there is a E-Controls. Even though this looks like it has two connectors, which, I mean, they're a little separated in there, the actual connector for the computer is only one. Sorry, and it's a 90 pin connector, so that's how it looks. This is just for him to see, because I have marked his computer, because I have multiple other computers in here. This has been here for a couple of days, almost a week. And I'm sorry, John, but I just got from Alaska, and I'm trying to catch up with everybody as I can. It's very hard, but I'm now testing your computer. All right, so let me just show you the paperwork that I have for him, so we can see his concerns. This is for you to see the computer on the bench, and I'm going to be plugging it in, and also to see the note that I have in there too as well. All right, this is the computer. Again, it says fault codes not required, delete if needed. I have brief description of problem. Both not starting fuel pump, not activating, no spark, alarm for overheating, and low oil, just non-stop. On supposed to be twice. Open grounds fault for a lot of the sensors, which I am not getting here. And I'm going to show you that in a second too as well. So let's go back to this capture. Or actually, yeah, well, just to connect, I'm going to get the diagram in the screen. I get the diagram in the meter, so we will see when I power it on, the 5-volt reference. So I'm going to power it on. I'm actually going to move you to this view, because I want you to see right here where I have this white sticker. That's the fuel pump relay. But no, actually, never mind. What I have done is now actually hook up a real relay here, not the simulator. And we're going to have this test light powering on, which is probably behind here. So let me change this, so probably you can see it there. All right, so let's power the computer on. And there is no fuel pump relay. Okay, so that is actually part of his issues, and we'll see the light if that comes on when we run in the computer. So let me connect, and I think I like this view too. So let me connect the computer to the harness. All right, we got everything ready. We got a 5-volt reference and sensor ground. So this computer has two separate 5-volt reference and two separate sensor grounds. Right now I'm connected into pins. So you can see, John, I'm in 5-volt reference pin 19, and the sensor ground is the one I'm having connected now. Is in pin, let me see, pin 50. So I'm going to swap the ground to, now we have no 5-volt reference. You can see that. And I'm going to look for the other sensor ground, which is in pin 20. But we see the 5-volt reference came immediately. So now with this meter and having the 5-volt reference reading in there, I can see that the sensor ground and the sensor voltage is correct. So if you're missing sensor ground, it's probably a harness issue, John. And I can repair your computer if we can reproduce a concern running, which I think the main power relay and the fuel pump relay should have come on, obviously. But they're not. So let me check the other 5-volt reference, which I have here. So again, the one I am connected now is in pin 19. I'm going to go over to the other 5-volt reference, which is in pin 49. And we can see now reading millivolts, and it's going up and down because it's open, right? So I'm going to connect it to it. And we got the other 5-volt reference reading perfectly. It's 5.0007. So it's a perfect 5-volt reference. So there is nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's connect to the computer. I'm going to do a selection, make sure that you are seeing that, and you are not. So let me make sure to put that in there. Yep, now you can see. All right. So here in these connections, I'm going to connect to the CAN bus. In the boat, you more likely will use a serial connector because it's a 2007. So, but in here, I'm using that. So don't follow my lead in here, because this is very specific in here. So this computer can connect with both, and I'm using that one. All right, so we're going to click OK. is detecting the computer. And then here we got multiple sub menus like engine data, injector monitor, fuel control, gauge, oil quality monitor. I use the first one, engine data. All right, so we're going to connect, and that is disconnected properly. For the computer, it looked like the status on the fuel pump relay driver is okay. Kind of weird that it's not working and it's showing okay. So that is odd. Let's go into full codes and let's go over to previously active, because I have only here barometric pressure and auxiliary digital 5 high voltage. I'm not connected into those. And we have ECT gauge driver fault, oil pressure gauge driver fault, trim gauge driver fault, and IAC motor fault. Those are probably in the history, which is not a problem. Nothing related to his concern. Nothing about the fuel pump in there. In these computers and with Diacom, you can do a test, which will disconnect the connectivity on the connection communication to do a relay test. So here, I tell you to do the test on engine off, ignition on. You can do just the ignition relay on or all the relays on. So when I do this, we should see right here, a main power relay coming on. I have a yellow light right now because it's full codes present. And then the fuel pump relay. So we should see two lights coming on when I see turn on, when I hit on the or click on the turn on relays. And yeah, we definitely, I forgot actually, we have the fuel pump here. 1 second, guys. All right, so no relays are coming on. We can see that in here. Let's see if it runs. All right, let's reconnect. And I'm going to put at least the RPM so we can see if it's running or not. It looks like something got weird in there. Let's do it again. That is the RPM you can see in there perfectly. All right, so let's see if it runs. Well, it is indeed running. I can see the injector. I can see the IAC moving. We can see those lights in here. These are the lights for the IAC. These in here are the injectors, and these two on the bottom. So 8 injectors and 1 ignition signal, which I'm going to put this oscilloscope. I got the scope connected. Let me put them in the screen. Because I want to see how that EST signal, which is, for the ignition module, looks, and also how the injection is looking. It looks like it's good, so let me put that in the screen as well. All right, so the blue channel is one of the injectors, injector number 1, and then the red channel is the EST signal, which is actually working properly. So we do have a spark and injection, but no relay. So obviously this in the boat will not run. Why? Because the main power relay is not being commanded on, so the computer itself cannot be powered on because the relays are not coming on. It's not closing the contact. The computer is sending that command, it closes the contact and then provides power into 2 pins, which is terminal 87. Again, it's a battery voltage through a relay, terminal 87, sorry. But yeah, we don't have that on the computer. So, John, I can definitely reproduce your concerns. Now we need to remove the computer out of the case and do the repairs on the board. I do have all parts in stock, so I'm going to contact you shortly, give you the estimate for repairs, and go from there. Hopefully it can be repaired. This IC is the one in control for multiple signals, including all those that you have problems with. I forgot to mention that this computer has 420.09 hours. And I can show you also, if I go over to the diagram, and we go over to system information, which you now have in the screen, that is the engine part number, the serial number of the engine, and then serial calibration software is a 5.7, and that's the firing order. And the last calibration, it says, it looks like it has never been updated, so 2006 511, so it is a 2007 calibration for sure. But it is running, so this is a good sign because all the rest of the signals are present and it's working good. We have no relays. So let me stop the video here. I will contact John and I will then remove the board and show you a little bit of what is going to be needed to be done. All right, guys, sadly, I will not be doing the repair on this computer. He actually just approved it after I have a conversation with him after like my fourth call. And I tried to explain to him, it's like, John, I am very busy and I know that I have, hold you a little bit, but, I requested always around 5 to 6 days on marine computers. And I just got back from Alaska. So yes, he sent a computer here to the 20th, but I have a lot of work to go to. I explained, and we have a nice conversation. I even put an email together for him, which I'm going to show you with recommendations and everything that I give him. And I said, do you approve the repairs? He's like, yeah, go ahead. But I said, I need to have it in writing because I have been burned that way. The people, it's like, well, I never approved it. And I always wait for your approval on an email. Like that, I can otherwise sell the module later if you don't want to pay for it, which is okay. But if you don't want to repair or you don't have the funds yet, just, honestly, just tell me, Mike, I cannot do it right now, or I need a week or whatever. So I don't have to be holding and to see if you want to do it or not after you already say yes. And the problem is I start doing the repair because he said yes, waiting on the estimate, but waiting on the approval on writing. So I'm going to show you that. So I already have the computer completely put together. I'm going to return it to him at no charge. I even pay for it for the shipping back. But so this is, as you can see already, the computer, the board out of the case, completely removed out of the case, and I was about to start the repairs. And I sent him, let me see where is that? Let me just go over to his folder, which is right here. So this was the conversation that I have, after I spoke to him. I said, because I tell him, John, this looked like either a chore into the harness onto the relay for the fuel pump or for the ignition relay. So I give him all these recommendations. I would like to see what other facility takes the time to do this, sending you wire diagrams, pinouts, or recommendations on testing. None. That doesn't exist in the world. And I was okay with that. I'm trying always to go the extra mile to, help my customers and everything. And, this was, as you see here on the right corner, I sent him this, went over. I sent him this at 1:51 p.m., which after we have a conversation, after we have a conversation right where you see this hand right here, the date and time. So 1 minute before 2 p.m., and we already had the conversation. So, and I have the conversation probably 10 minutes before. So let's say like around 1:40 p.m. I had the conversation and the verbal approval. But again, that's not good for me. Not enough. That's why I always have that repair form signed by you, emails and everything, because I don't want to get burned. Especially, these repairs are not inexpensive. This is a very hard to find computer, a very difficult repair. So that's why it's a little up in there. But yeah, so then after I call him, it's like, John, I cannot keep waiting on you. I need to have an approval. If you don't respond, oh, Mike, I wait for you because, my computer has been there for like 5-6 days. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but that doesn't, make me okay for you to wait after I give you an approval with me, my hands just tied up in here. And this is what he doesn't understand. I got 46 computers on the bench in here just waiting to be repaired, plus another 150 computers that are still in the box. So you wasting 1 hour of my time is me repairing 20 computers or testing 20 computers. So this is outrageous for me, because if you're not okay, or you don't want to proceed, or you don't have the funds, just tell me, Mike, I don't want to repair it, or let me think about it, and then I move away. It's okay. I can hold that, and I can move your computer, and I keep working. Obviously, if I move it out of my desk, now you lose your spot, and you will have to wait till I get the next spot open, which it will be 3, 4 days, 5 days, because you needed time, and that is I'm okay with that. But if you tell me okay, then you make me wait thinking that you're going to approve it, and you're not there yet. I call him, it's like, oh, well, Mike, I said, John, let me just make it simple for you. I'm going to put your computer back together, and I'm going to send it back to you. Not a problem, because I don't want to have a run starting into a relationship with a customer. I'd rather remove it. I'd rather send his computer back, and then he can buy another one, send it to somebody else, and I can move along to my work. And I'm sorry, John, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. You see right now here, after I tell him I'm not going to be working on your computer, I'm going to send it back. He sends me a response. Please go ahead and with the repair at 2:44 p.m. So almost 50 minutes of me sucking my thumb, just because I don't know. I honestly don't know why, because I was proceeding and everything. We have a great conversation. Again, if you don't have the funds, so you still think, let me do some, conversation with a wife, or let me look online and see if I can get a computer, a used one for less money, because I don't want to invest much in that. I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, it's part of the business. These are very hard to get computers, so if you don't want to repair it, that's fine. I can send it back. It's not a problem. In this case, I would not even ask to or charge for even the testing. And I'm going to put this video up there, because I don't want him, if he gives me a bad review, I want to explain to everybody what happened. And this is it. All right, guys, I'm sorry if this is not a good result on this repair, but sometimes it is like that. All right, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.